guys, Brandy here. Welcome back to the kitchen. Welcome back to Sewing Back. If you're new around here, hello, I'm Brandy. So we are working on apples, and particularly you guys, if you are a follower of the channel, you know I love using a crock pot to make butters, jams, and jellies. It just simplifies it just a bit. It gives you a little bit more time, and it develops your flavor because it's a slow cook down, and it's really delicious. So I actually made this a few years ago on my channel. I was using my Instapot on the slow cooker feature because I didn't have a crock pot, and then I ended up buying a crock pot because I needed one for something at work. And so I am making a batch in here, and this actually this recipe comes, well, the base of this recipe comes from the Ball Canning book. I've added a couple of my own tweaks to it to add my own little flavor that I'm going to share with you. But we're going to make a Sweet Cider Apple Butter. And so I have in my crock pot right now, I have over 6 pounds of peeled and cored apples sliced in half. These are the apples we got on our trip. So these are from Western North Carolina, and I don't want any of it to go to waste. So I peeled all those. Don't worry, all my peels and cores. You could take that and make like an apple jam or apple jelly if you want. I actually give it to my chickens. They don't get that very often, so that's like a real big treat to them. So this time of year, and actually I didn't even process a lot of apples last year because I had done so many in 2022 that I had plenty on the shelf, but I'm out now. And so we are replenishing our apple butter. I will also probably be doing some apple sauce because I also like to have some of that. But we found we really loved the Sweet Cider Apple Butter. It is very versatile. You can use it in a lot of different recipes, or you can just eat it. And one of the nice things about doing it in your slow cooker is, like I said, it builds the level of flavors. And I didn't even have to like get my immersion blender out. Mine had little bits and pieces in it, and I canned it up that way on purpose because it was so good to put in like baked oatmeals, making some nice apple butter muffins and things like that, especially if you're using like a freshly milled kamut. Oh, so good. So that's my plan again today, and I thought I'd bring you along and show you. Hopefully this will be a better video than the other one I had. I've learned a lot over the last few years of making YouTube videos. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get into it, and let me tell you the ingredients. As I said, you needed 6 pounds of peeled, cored, sliced apples. Now, a lot of apple butters will call for a tart apple, and this is actually a new variety to me that I got called Ludicrous or something like that. I don't have the name in front of me, so it's something to that effect. And I know it was bred with a Honey Crisp. I'm not sure what the other part of it was. I think it was some kind of a green variety of apple, and very good. It's sweet, it has a nice crunch to it. And so I'm choosing to use these. When I've made this in before, I did it with Matsu apples, and it was beautiful. So I think as long as you have a firm enough texture apple, any apple will do. Sorry, Daddy's home. And so she's letting everybody know her daddy's home. But anyway, so we need that. I have that. We're going to use 2 cups of apple cider. I have some fresh apple cider. However, if you don't have apple cider, you can totally use like 100% apple juice would work just fine. 3 cups of sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of cloves, half of a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 to 2 teaspoons of bourbon vanilla, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of a bourbon maple syrup. So the bourbon, vanilla, and maple syrup and the nutmeg are some things that I added to the ball recipe, and it's so delicious. And so I'm actually going to be using the bourbon barreled maple syrup I got from Costco. So if you got some of that, you can use that. If not, you can totally just use maple syrup. You could use honey, or you could just leave that part off. You don't have to have it. It is something I added to it. So these will get cooking. I'm going to put everything together, and then we're going to cook it nicely on a low temperature, low and slow, in my crock pot. If you have an Instant Pot with the slow cooker feature, you can totally do it in that. I did it that way in past years. And I let mine cook for about 18 hours. At that point, it came in. I really liked the consistency that it was. It had little, like I said, little bits and pieces. I chose not to use the immersion blender to make it smooth, but you totally could if that's what you want to go for in your butter. And then I canned it up following the Ball Canning book for home preservation. And I'll show you that as well when we get to that step. So anyway, let's get started. Let's get some apple butter going. And I will say this, your house is gonna smell amazing. It'll smell all the cozy fall smells. So here we go. Let's get started. All right, guys, so we've got our crock pot. There was one ingredient that I forgot to mention, and that is some salt. I always like to add a little bit of salt just to balance out flavors. So I'm doing just a teaspoon of salt in here. Now we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And this thing is filled to the brim, and so as it cooks down, that's when I'll kind of mash a little bit and get everything incorporated. Right now I'm just getting it in the crock pot and getting it turned on. I need half of a teaspoon of ground cloves. Whew. I don't want more than that. That's strong stuff, but it smells really good. That's why I said your house is going to smell amazing. Alright, then I'm using some of my new nutmeg I got on our trip up in Tennessee. I had a video about the little tea and spice company, and I got some fresh whole nutmeg. So I'm just gonna grate up a little, what I think is half of a teaspoon. If you have grated, use half of a teaspoon. If you're grating it, I just kind of eyeball it. Oops. Uh-oh. That looks pretty good to me. Alright, so we got that. Next, we're going to be putting 3 cups of sugar. This is organic sugar I got from Costco. So this is half a cup, so I need 6 of these. Okay. Then this is my homemade bourbon vanilla that I made. I have a video on that. It's an older video. But making your own vanilla is really easy, but it takes a little bit of time. So I'm gonna do 2 teaspoons of it. If you don't have bourbon vanilla, you can use plain, just regular vanilla is fine. All right, next we're gonna put our 2 cups of apple cider in here. Again, apple juice will work just fine. And then my secret ingredient. This is the Crown maple syrup that's bourbon barrel aged. I got this at Costco. They bring it out usually once a year. When it's gone, it's gone. So I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of this. Actually, we're gonna do 3 for good measure. And to be quite honest with you, I haven't tasted this, so oh, shut the door. That stuff's good. That's like really, oh gosh, that's really good. Really good. That's really good. All right. So that's all of our ingredients. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my crock pot lid on. This is one that will clamp down. I love this crock pot for traveling. It's really nice. And then all we're gonna do is, this one's super easy. You can only select low or high. It doesn't have a lot of the extra, there's some that have a lot more functions and stuff. It just has that. I'm looking for low. The light is on low. And I'm gonna, oh, I take it back. It wasn't on low. I thought I had plugged it up. Again, I should always have my glasses on. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna select low, and I'm gonna put on here 18 hours, and I don't even have to hit start. It's that easy. And so, like I said, after it cooks for about an hour, I'll take the lid off and I'll kind of move things around to make sure things are getting a little bit better incorporated. I'll do that periodically. This will be cooking overnight. And then tomorrow we'll come back to it, and with once it's all done, we will can this up, and I will show you how to do that. It's super easy. This is an easy water bath can, and you will be so glad you have this stuff on your shelf. It makes such delicious, one, it's just delicious to eat by itself. It's great to put with some Greek yogurt, all those kinds of things. It's good on toast. But you can make delicious muffins, pancakes. I've done muffins, pancakes, oatmeal bakes, and things like that. So there's a lot of things that you can use this product with if you put it on your shelf to make other things. So it's a great one to stock the shelves with, especially now that we're in apple season. Honestly, apple season kind of comes to an end at the very end of October. A lot of places you still can get fresh apples through November, and then most apple orchards and stuff, or at least in my area, they close down, and officially apple season's kind of over. So so stay tuned. I'll show you how this looks as we go along, and I'll bring you back for the canning process. So guys, you can see I'm using my immersion blender because it was a little bit thicker than I wanted it to be.
Here I am taking out my pint-sized jars from my water bath canner. The reason you want to do this is whenever you're water bath canning and you're putting hot liquid into those jars, you want hot jars. This will keep them from shattering during the canning process and losing all of your work. So when you can this up, you want to leave 1/4 of an inch of headspace. You want to wipe your rims, put on new lids, and you can reuse bands as long as they're okay. No rust and things like that. And then you're going to process these for 10 minutes for pint-sized jars in a water bath canner, and that's what we did. And as you can see, this is what from my class I did with my seniors on apple butter. This was an apple butter cake we used using a gluten-free cake mix, and that's what it looked like. It was so good. And we also did an oatmeal bake, and they got to sample it and they loved it. So I just want to thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.